welcome back to the channel. My name is Greg. This is Greg's Mowers and More. Today on the channel, we're going to take a look at this beauty. It's a craftsman rider. Looks to be kind of a newer one, probably not very new, but my neighbor gave me this the other day. He brought it over on his skid loader forks. Said it was in his sister's garage. He was cleaning it out. Said it had been sitting there for a few years. So his ex-brother-in-law couldn't get it to run. So trains are loud.
Loud noises!
Anyway, we're going to dive into this thing and see if we can't get her going again. So, first thing, let's open the hood. Check the oil on. Alright, well, that's a bad sign. Alright. Full levels here, oil level is up to here. And it smells like varnished fuel. So that right there tells me that the needle valve in the carburetor probably stuck open and it leaked all the fuel out of this tank, out of the crank. I don't want to try to start it like that. That can backfire down the pan, let the crankcase on fire, block the bearings, any number of bad things can go wrong with that. So anyway, there is a little bit of lubricity there, so I'm going to see if this engine will even spin over. And it does. The engine rotates over. Okay. So, I guess the first thing I probably ought to do is try and drain the oil out of it, put some fresh in it. I'm going to do that off camera. I mean, I'm sure you guys know how to change oil and stuff. If you don't, there's other videos for that. But I'll do that. And I think once I get that done, we'll put a battery in it. This thing doesn't have a battery in it. Then we'll see if the electrical system's working, see if the key start works on it. Well, I got the engine oil out of it, and I know most guys probably would have tried to shove some carb cleaner down it and fire it on that, but let me show you guys this. There is zero viscosity in that. That is all gasoline. There is no oil left in that whatsoever. That is just begging to ruin an engine and wash bearings out. So we got her full of oil. I got to swap a battery over. Then we'll see where we're at from there. Alright, I was under here hooking my battery up and I noticed a definite issue. Right here is a wiring harness for the seat switch. It's unplugged. So somebody might have had this off trying to bypass it because they don't like it. Every time you get off the mower it dies, but all you got to do to get around that is set the parking brake on it, which you should do anyway. But anyway, anytime you're looking at a mower with a no crank concern, it's good to look at this, the key switch, the starter solenoid first. Definitely check battery voltage before you do any of that though, because always start with the simplest things first. But I'm going to hook this thing back up for right now, and then we're going to probably pull the plugs, throw some PB down the cylinders just so they're not dry firing. Well, I got the plug pulled and it's nice and wet in there and it smells like varnish, so I'm guessing the cylinder was probably full of fuel too. So I got it out. I sprayed a bunch of PB up there in the cylinder. I got the parking brake on. I'm going to turn the key and we're going to see if it throws a bunch of nasty stuff out or if anything at all works. Okay. Definitely had a lot of nastiness in there. I'm going to throw some more PB in there. I think I'm going to roll it over again. And then I'm going to check for spark. Alright, I got our little plug sitting here up against the exhaust. Oh yeah, nice hot fire. Alright, I think we got our cylinder lubed enough. I'm going to put this plug back in it. We'll move forward. Alright, I got the plug back in. Remove the air filter housing. We're going to give little bit of carbon choke cleaner down this hole right here. We're just going to see if it'll fire for us. Set our choke. There goes nothing. Alright, so I fired up, ran for a second. Didn't hear any rod knocks. I was kind of concerned about that because they obviously hydrolocked the cylinder and we're trying to crank on it, and that's when you bend rods and stuff. We can't tell if it's going to be a smoker or not yet. If they wash the rings down, there's a good chance it could be an oil burner. But I also noticed over here, fuel line and the fuel filter are unhooked. So I'm going to put that back together, and then I think I'm going to put a little gas in the tank and see what happens. Well, I better check that carburetor first. I'm going to have to do that next. All right, we're over here on the intake side of the tractor now. You can see those fuel lines are off. Now, this right here is a fuel shutoff solenoid. And these things are a pain in the butt sometimes. What's supposed to happen is when you turn the key off, this thing's supposed to click, shut the fuel flow off into the carburetor so that it can't do what it did, where it filled up. But if this is a faulty solenoid and it's not working, it'll still let it happen. So, kind of the first test I do, and I'm going to try to set you guys on this tire right here real quick, if I can. Sorry for my hand being in the way. Is I'll sit here and I'll feel this thing, and I'll turn the key off and on and see if I feel it move. There's nothing going on there. Nothing at all. No click noise, nothing. So that solenoid's probably bad. They fail all the time. Before I go messing with that or trying to get a new one, I think I'm going to dump a little bit of gas in the tank, and we're just going to see what it does, because I would like to make sure it's not going to, smoke too bad before I go throwing any money at this thing. So I'm going to reconnect this fuel line, dump a little bit of fresh fuel in the tank, and then we're going to see if it won't pop off without tearing in that carburetor. Maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, got our fuel line connected, got a little bit of gas in the tank. Going to set our choke, start wheeling this thing over. I left the air filter off just so I can get as much air as it needs. Okay, so that fuel solenoid is definitely stuck. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but it started blowing fuel right out that intake pipe. All right, so let me go ahead and dump this fuel. So we definitely got a bad solenoid because it should not have done that. And now our engine's flooded again, which I didn't want. But thought I was going to get lucky there, and I didn't. Luckily, I didn't put much fuel in it. I am going to probably try to get well, that's not even going to work. I'm going to have to tear this carburetor apart and look at it and see what's going on. But usually these fuel solenoids, you can just get one of them little red shutoffs and turn it off every time you get off the tractor, and it's fine. But the needle valve must really be stuck open in the carburetor for it to do what it just did. Because it filled up with fuel and blew it out of there in just like seconds. It wasn't even seconds for me putting the gas in there. It's just going straight in. I'm sure it didn't get any in the block. It's probably just all sitting on top of the piston. I'll have to pull the plug out. I didn't think I put this much fuel in it. Come here. There we go. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna tear this carburetor apart. Oh boy. Okay, got the fuel solenoid disconnected. So there's two nuts that hold this carburetor on. And they're 7/16, 11 millimeter, whatever you want to refer to them as. 11 millimeter and 7/16 are pretty close to the same, not exact, but pretty close. So we're just gonna crack them babies loose. Oh, man. Putting on my favorite cologne for the wife right now.
She gets a special cologne. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep, it's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
It's quite pungent.
Oh yeah.
It's a formidable scent. Stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
87 octane. She absolutely loves that stuff. You can't tell I'm being sarcastic. I don't think women really love the smell of gasoline too much.
My God, what is that smell? Oh, God, no, it smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food. Oh.
Oh, what is that? It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
This is worse than the time the raccoon got in the copier. Yeah.
Maybe some do. I'm more partial to the smell of diesel fuel myself. How about you guys? Do those got to come out the front? Is that how this works? Or can I get this thing off of here that way? Or do I got to pull the whole engine shroud off? I'm not sure. Huh. Well, you goofy wonky thing. Alright. Oh, geez. Okay. That was crazy. Coming out of the breather. How does this thing come off of here? Or is it bolted on right there? It is. I figured it out. I'm a genius.
C-O-U-C-H? Correct.
I am the smartest man alive!
So there's that part of it. Now the question is, boy, they made this thing kind of tight, didn't they? Tight like a tiger.
You have a toy body. Yes. I see that from your toy pants. Yes, you are toyed like a tiger.
Huh. You are kind of a pain there, little feller. How do I get that? I'm gonna have to pull that whole top shroud off, ain't I? Yep. Okay, so anyway, it was nice of them to make this go through here so you can't get it out. So now I'm gonna have to pull these engine shroud cover bolts and lift the whole top shroud cover off. So I'll do that, then we'll come back. Okay, so now that we got that menagerie off, there's 4 bolts, 2 back here, 2 up here. Pull your dipstick tube out, which comes right off. So it was dumping gas so hard in that thing that it literally was starting to fill up the pipe here. So definitely something wrong here. So we're gonna figure that out. So there's 2 more 8mm studs here that hold your carby on. Carby, not Kirby, the pink thing. Not that pink thing, you sicko. Alright. Get these studs out. Hopefully the carburetor doesn't fall to the ground. It's probably going to, but okay. Carb studs are out. Now we just got to unhook it from the motor, which is going to be this rod here and this rod here. So let me get her off of there. All right, we got her carb off, and it's sitting upside down like that. Right now, that needle valve ought to be closed. So I'm going to blow in this hose. It's running straight through. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Sorry for the camera work here. I'm just using my hands. So yeah, there's something wrong with that needle valve for certain. So let me dig in this a little bit more. Okay, I got our float and our needle valve out. This is going to be difficult for you guys to see. But anyway, on the end of that needle valve right there is a piece of rubber. And that rubber has gotten very hard, and you can probably, I can see it through the lens right now, see a line right around the end of this where it's supposed to seal at. And it is not sealing. So this needle valve is defective. However, for it to still get fuel down the cylinder like that, there had to be two issues. And one of them, I believe, is that fuel shutoff solenoid. Because even if this failed, still should have never been allowed to have that much fuel, because the shutoff valve should have worked. So now that we have the bowl off, I've hooked it back into the wire again. I'm going to go ahead and flip the key. And it's not moving. Now, one other thing I can do is check voltage to that wiring, make sure that I have voltage to it, and I'm going to do that. But my bet is that fuel. All right, I got my meter out. My leads are kind of not awesome for this. There we go, key on, 12.46 volts. So the wiring is good. Fuel solenoid is confirmed bad. So a new fuel solenoid and a new needle valve should fix this tractor. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and order the parts for this, the fuel solenoid, the needle valve, or possibly a new carburetor. I haven't decided yet. But I'm always trying to find new, I call them bush fixes, side of the road fixes, you know, got to get it going if you can, fixes. So I'm going to try this one, see if it works. Brake fluid swells rubber. So I got the end of that thing, that needle valve, soaking in some brake fluid, trying to see if it'll swell that rubber up enough just to get it to be able to seal in that carburetor long enough that I can get an idea how this thing's going to run. I don't know if I'm going to hook the tank back up to it. I might just try to bottle feed it through the fuel line. And I'm going to go ahead and run through the passages and spray some carb cleaner through this carburetor, make sure all the openings are open in it. And then I guess I'll throw it back together for now, because that'll make sure nothing else gets in the engine. You know, no bug's going to build anything in the cylinder head or intake or anything like that. So anyway, here in a little bit, when I get it all reassembled, I'll bring you guys back and we'll see if it worked or if it was an epic fail. All right, we got it all back together now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the choke off a little bit. We're gonna fire it up and run it off carb cleaner because my bush fix didn't work. I tried to blow air through it after that and it still leaked just about the same. So we're gonna try to run it a minute or two on some carb cleaner just so we can see what this engine sounds like. Oh, wait a minute. Something's not right here. Something not right on the blower shroud. I don't know what, but something's wrong. I don't like that noise. So let me take that back apart and figure out what I messed up there. Okay, apart and back together. Turns out there's a couple of slots in this cover that this oil fill tube's got to slide into. If you miss them, brings the oil fill tube in against the blower fins.
Idiot.
Luckily, it didn't hurt anything. It could have broken the fins off or sheared the oil fill out of the block. That would have been bad. But anyway, we're ready to go at her again. So let's see what we got. too long. I don't want to get it lean. But I did see it stop smoking. The engine sounds healthy. No knocks, no clatter, no nothing like that. It's not even hard to start like some of these Briggs are. If it cranks over real hard, your valves need adjusted. I don't even think this thing needs adjusted. This engine probably doesn't have very many hours on it, if I'm guessing, because I mean it doesn't run like it's wore out or anything. So I know the guy that had it, and he wasn't the most mechanically inclined guy in the whole world. I'm just going to say that about him. He wasn't a bad guy. He just didn't know what he was doing all the time. So I'm going to be waiting on parts for this thing for a while, I'm guessing. But I don't want you guys to have to wait for this video since I was able to get it running. I might do a part 2 on it where, you know, I actually put the new carb on it, run some fuel in it, stuff like that, tune it up, see if the tires hold air, see if the deck works, and then shine her up and get her ready to go on to her next home. But anyway, that's going to about do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day, and God bless you.